What's going on, Imperials? It's Emperor Cubone here. So, remember that time a couple months ago I said that I had 1,000 subscribers? Well, that number has almost quadrupled. You all are insane. A huge thank you out there to every single Imperial and to all the future Imperials to come. It's been 1 year since I put out my first video on YouTube. My first good video came out sometime later. But, to commemorate the occasion, I thought I would answer some of your questions. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Just as a side note, I'm not sure how ranty I'm gonna be on all of these, so please bear with me. Ryan Fitzgerald asks, how many shiny Pokemon have you got, and what are they? Well, Ryan, I'm not sure how to tell you this, but I do have 2 videos up called Shiny Pokemon Stories. It's in the Shiny Pokemon playlist, and it goes through every detail about how I caught the shinies and what they are and all that different stuff and what game I got them in. So I'm not going to go through all of that again, but this does give me the opportunity to say that since I put out those videos, I have caught a shiny Toxicroak in the Friend Safari in Y version. I have caught a shiny Staryu by soft resetting in the Poképelago. Of course, the shiny Silvally event that's been going on. I successfully SOS chained for a shiny Rockruff. Yes, again. I caught it in a Moon Ball, which was pretty cool. And then I traded it over to my brother's Moon version. He doesn't know this. He just figured this out when I told you. So that I could evolve it into the Midnight form Lycanroc. And I nicknamed it Garurumon. So now he's a nice counterpart to Tiger. And the one that I'm most proud of is I successfully SOS hunted for a shiny Mimikyu. I don't have to tell you how hard it is to find a regular Mimikyu, but I finally got a shiny one. And it feels great. Do not subscribe to this channel, mate. Says, what's a Pokeman? Or what do you think is the proper way to say Pokemon? I'm gonna guess that's kind of a joke, but I'm gonna answer the second part seriously. The correct way, I think, to say it is Pokemon. Not Pokémon, not Pokemon, not Pokémon. That one's the worst. But, you know, kind of like how the Japanese pronunciation would be of Pocket Monster. So, even though I don't do that all the time, I know I don't do that all the time, I think that's the correct way to say it. Sean Morrison asks, what was your first Pokemon game? My very first Pokemon game that I personally owned was Diamond version. I didn't ever have a console to play video games as a kid, the home console or handheld, but in middle school, I saved up enough of my own money to buy a DS Lite, it was black, and I bought Diamond, and that was the only game that I had for the DS because that's the only game I wanted to play for a long time until Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out, I guess would be the next time I got a game, but there's over like 940 hours on that Diamond version. I have never restarted it, and it's great. CS asks, is the 480p thing a gimmick, or is it a reference to the old school look of Pokemon? And kind of related to that, JB1 Attack asks, ever thought of going to 720 or even 1080p? To answer the first question, no, it is not a gimmick. To answer the second question, I have now. You might have noticed, since you asked these questions, that the little HD icon shows up next to the videos now on YouTube. I just didn't know how to make it any different. I didn't really look into that until you asked me the question. But I figured it out, and so now my videos are higher quality. You know, for a while I was wondering why it looked better on my computer when I was making it than it did when it was on YouTube. But now that I have upped the quality of it, thanks to you, I'm in your debt, I guess. Sorry if I mispronounce any of these names, by the way, but Cars Bose asks, Pokemon Ranger or Mystery Dungeon? That is a very good question. On topic, but not tired and played out. I like it. Truthfully, I haven't played Pokemon Ranger outside of the demo version in the store. What I played of that, I liked okay. I have played parts of 2 Mystery Dungeon games, and I say parts because I was not able to finish. I don't know what it is about the Mystery Dungeon games, but I could not get into them. I mean, it's just so repetitive, and yes, the standard Pokemon games are very repetitive, and it's just battle after battle, but this was different. It was very different. I think because I couldn't pick my team fully, I could pick a team, but it was from a preset list that they gave me, whereas I could pick literally anyone I wanted to in a main series game. So, to answer your question, I'm going to have to say Pokemon Ranger. Kind of related to that, not really. Nobody asked this question, but this question made me think of it, and that is Mega Stones or Z Crystals? So personally, I think I'm going to have to say Z Crystals. Z moves are not my favorite mechanic by any means, but neither is Mega Evolution. And I say Z Crystals because anyone can use them, unless they have the Klutz ability. Does that affect Z Crystals? I'll look into that. But say that your favorite Pokemon is, for whatever reason, a Weedle, and you don't want to evolve it into Beedrill and use a Mega Beedrill, you like Weedle. Well, you can put on a Poisonium Z and have it use Acid Downpour, and it can nuke that Pidgey and get rid of it that it otherwise wouldn't be able to. But you can't ever have a Mega Weedle, so Mega Stones are nice for like 40 Pokemon, but Z Crystals are for everyone. And some people even have their own special Z Crystals, so I'm gonna have to go with that. Pokemon Champion Moon asks, what is your favorite starter other than Empoleon? My favorite starter other than Empoleon, who is my favorite Pokemon of all time, would have to be my second favorite Pokemon of all time, which is Sceptile. Sceptile is incredibly cool. I mean, he's got the leaf blade arm things, and he's fast and strong, and the Ashes one in the anime was great. That's probably a good reason for my thing, but he's my favorite grass type for sure, and I like the Mega, I do, even though it makes him weak to half the game. But I do like it, and the Dragon typing's cool, so Sceptile's my second favorite, for sure. Arno Williamson asks, what team would you have if you were going to go into a competitive battle? So here's the thing. I watch competitive sometimes, like people like A-Drive and stuff like that, the GBA, into that kind of leagues and stuff, I watch it. But I'm kind of like Karen of the Johto Elite Four, in that I play with the ones that I like. So that works out great for the story, may not work out great for the competitive scene, but I would have to say that I would use my all-time favorite Pokemon on a team. They're all pretty strong, so I think it could work. Somebody use this team and let me know. I'm not going to tell you sets or anything, I'm just going to say my all-time favorites are Empoleon, Sceptile, Charizard, Metagross, Flygon, and Gliscor. So, there you go. Put that team together, build up a set, use the items and everything. Use it, get back to me, let me know how it goes. I'll be interested to see. Dalton Kerstetter asks, what is your favorite Pokemon game? That's a good question. I would have to say, I started with Gen 4, and I do like Diamond and Pearl and everything, but I think the remakes in Gen 4 are probably the best. Heart Gold and Soul Silver, specifically Soul Silver for me, is my favorite game, and I have played it, honestly, I don't know how many times, because I'll just play through with a team that I set up beforehand, go all the way through Johto and Kanto, and then trade the team back over, get all the items off that are useful for the next time, like all the TMs and stuff, and then just do it all over again. I must have done that at least a dozen times, I'm sure. So Soul Silver, to me, is my favorite Pokemon game. And then, I can't make this up, the very next question is from It's Your Boy Tom, and he says, what's your favorite non-Pokemon game? So I would have to say that I'm a big fan of the Mass Effect series because of the story in that game. The gameplay is good, but the story and the characters, oh man. I love how you can pick your own story. I've played through the entire series at least 3 times, and each of those times has had totally different outcomes, and I love it. The replay value for that is just through the roof. I'm still in the middle of playing it a 4th time, and I'm sure it's going to be even more different. If I had to be more specific, I would guess Mass Effect 2 if I had to pick one out of the trilogy to be my favorite. Because it's the most expansive, I think. It seems like it has more time to put into it, and I think they strike the best balance of gameplay and story in that one. Jack McKinstray asks, what's your favorite gin and your favorite food? Okay, second part first. Favorite food is breakfast food. I love bacon, eggs, biscuits and gravy, sausage, country ham, hash browns, cereal's good, waffles, anything. I love breakfast food. Any time of day. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It works for all of them. If I could have a last meal, it would be breakfast food. Favorite gin is a bit harder. I like Gin 4 a lot. I started with that. I started playing with that. I liked the Pokemon series long before then, but I didn't have the games before then. But I also like Gen 6, but it's so underdeveloped because they didn't do any more Kalos, and it just left a lot of things hanging. I don't know. I'm gonna have to say it's between 4 and 6. I'm gonna say 4 right now, probably. Tentatively. It's favorite gen, not best gen. So I guess my favorite is 4. That doesn't mean it's the best. I acknowledge that. True Green 7 asks... Wait, what? Oh, no, he spells it wrong. That's not the same True Green 7. Don't worry. True Green 7 asks, what's your favorite legendary or mythical Pokemon? That's a good question. There's a lot of good ones. Raikou comes to mind. But I also like Articuno. I've always liked Articuno ever since Gen 1. And I know he's not the best in battle, but again, it's my favorite, not the best. And I just love how majestic Articuno looks and the freezing wind that comes off it when it flies. It's very cool. Puns. The Frozen Garchomp asks, can we be friends? What's your favorite shiny? Sandals or strap-on flip-flops? Yes, of course we can be friends. Who says no to friends? Secondly, Umbreon is my favorite shiny. It's in my top 12 shiny Pokemon video. You want to go check that out. And, I don't really wear either of those, but I guess if I had to, I would do sandals, probably. Since that could be more protective of my feet, I guess. The Magia TNT asks, who is your favorite PokeTuber? Or Pokemon YouTuber, they say. It's not really a secret, but if you go over to the side of my channel and under the Inspirations tab, the very first one at the top is MNJTV Pokevids. I love this guy. He's so fun and so excitable, and he makes everything just relatable, and he's a nice dude, and he makes good content, so he deserves all the subscribers that he has. If you're not subscribed to him for some reason but subscribe to me, go to him, because he's the reason I'm doing this. I didn't even know PokeTubers were a thing before I saw him, and then I just saw a bunch of other people, and nobody ever really lived up to him in my mind, so he's my favorite. Hopefully I'll meet him one day. Epiwish asks, if you could give your favorite Pokemon a Mega Evolution, what would it be like? Okay, my favorite is Empoleon, so I guess I would have to give him a Mega. I would keep the Water and Steel typing, because that typing is still unique, and it's a pretty good typing, to be honest. Some people will disagree with that, but that's on them. I think, not just everything being extra pointy and everything, like, Mega Scissors design is too much, I think, but you could amp up some of the angles and things, and there's a Pokemon Fusion design out there with Empoleon and Bisharp, and that's a really cool design, and so I think something like that would be nice. If you want to figure that out, then go Google Empoleon Bisharp Fusion, I guess, but pretty much that, I would say. Angel Games asks, do you have any phobias, and if you do, what are they? I'm getting into personal stuff here. I don't know that I have any phobias right now, really, but as a kid, I was definitely terrified of thunderstorms. And, like, every time that they would come by, I would just be cowering and shaking uncontrollably. So I'm not that bad about it now, but I would definitely say that that was a phobia that I had at one time. Aaron Stokes asks, what Pokemon do you have a love-hate relationship with? This question took me a long time, because it's a really good question. Because most Pokemon I either just love or just kind of hate. Or have a problem with, I guess. But a love-hate relationship, I even looked up online what the definition of a love-hate relationship was so that I could nail down this question. And I think I'm gonna have to say Gengar. Because I love Gengar in that he's really cool and really useful, and he's an awesome ghost type from the first generation. He's also an awesome poison type from the first generation. But I hate how hard it is to get him. It's not that hard now, I guess, with wireless trading and everything, but trade evolutions were such a pain for so long. And I hate having to face them in battle, because they're tough and they're good, and I don't like that. I just want to win, you know? So I'm gonna have to say Gengar for those reasons. Chantel Harding asks, out of all the team organizations in the Pokemon games, which is your favorite and which is your least favorite? That's a pretty good question too. I would have to say my favorite is probably Team Rocket from Gen 1. I don't so much like the Gen 2 Team Rocket in Johto. They didn't strike the same chord with me, I guess. But Team Rocket from Gen 1 is pretty cool. Team Rainbow Rocket, we'll have to see. Jury's still out on that. I don't know if it'll be my favorite. I'm gonna have to look into it more. But my least favorite team would probably have to be Team Flare, because I forget about it all the time. I forget it exists. And it's so lackluster. When I think of the Kalos region, Team Flare doesn't even occur to me. Like, that's how periphery they are in my Kalos experience. And if we have a team that's obsessed with their clothes and how they look, who did it better, Team Flare or Team Skull? Everyone thinks about Team Skull and their outfits, but nobody cares about Team Flare. So they just were a worse Team Skull before Team Skull happened. So they're my least favorite. Steven Ritzel asked, what's your favorite Star Wars character? That's a very good question. Mine is Chewbacca. He's right there behind me. Hold on a second. In case you couldn't tell, I have a picture of Chewbacca signed by Peter Mayhew, the man who played Chewbacca. I met him, got to shake his hand. I was so starstruck, you guys. I'm really bad about meeting celebrities, but that was a cool day. So yeah, Chewbacca is just a loyal friend and a beastly battler and a great co-pilot. And so he's my favorite, and I'm glad he's still around in the next movie. Mr. Chestnut asks, any thoughts on the Transformers series? And what content would you wish to make besides Pokemon? Okay. I've seen about the first 20 minutes of the first Transformers movie, and that's it. But I would have to say that, to me, Transformers is like Pirates of the Caribbean, in that people really liked the first one or two movies, and then they kept making more, because they make money, but nobody really likes them. Like, I've never heard someone say, man, that last Pirates of the Caribbean movie was my favorite. Same with Transformers. They keep making them, people keep going to see them, so that's why they keep making them. If you stopped going to see them, they wouldn't be churning them out so much. But, yeah, it's a franchise that makes money, but probably should have stopped a long time ago. Those are my thoughts on that. As for other content, I've kind of already done some of that. I really, really love Star Wars and Marvel, as you can probably tell by my background here, and all my stuff that I have. But, I mean, I've made some Star Wars and Marvel or DC videos and things like that. They haven't gotten many views, but I liked making them, and I liked talking about them. So I think I'm gonna keep doing that in the future, even if the audience is very limited for that, because I like those things, and I have as many, if not more, opinions about those as I do about Pokemon, so we'll see. YOLO3125 asks, how long does it take you to edit your videos? It's a pretty good question. For the standard type of video, I would say it probably takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours to do all of the voice recording and editing in that part of the department with all the music and stuff and contrast, brightness, all that stuff. But it probably takes anywhere from 5 to 7 hours to do the setup of formatting all the pictures and things in the proper order and how they come in and out of the screen and everything. That varies depending on what I have going on during the week and stuff like that, but that definitely takes the longest amount of time. Monkey Music asks, if you had to pick one generation's decks, excluding repeats, as your favorite, which one would it be and why? So in their question they said, like, Kanto Pokemon and the Johto decks don't count. So what I'm assuming they're asking is, which generation of new Pokemon do I think is the best? Like Gen 3 is the Hoenn Pokédex, I'm assuming is what they mean. So, incidentally, that's my pick. Gen 3 Hoenn Pokédex. Because it has the best blend, I think, of 3-stage lines and one-offs and just awkward, weird people and awesomely powerful people and lots of diversity, lots of different types. I mean, Gen 1 is good, but I think Hoenn has the best decks overall. If I had to pick one to have in real life, let's say, then Hoenn would have the most of my favorites, I would say. And if not some of my favorites from other gens, they have more than enough to make up for that. Jigglypuff, just Jigglypuff. Hey, Jigglypuff, how's it going? Guys, the original Jigglypuff's here, so let's see. They has a, of these, which 3-stage Pokemon are your favorites and least favorites? And then they have links to all of the 3-stage, 3rd stage Pokemon. So, I guess my favorite would have to be the Sceptile line. Like I said, Sceptile is my second favorite Pokemon of all. Grovyle is my favorite middle evolution, as we've seen. Trico is a great first stage. I mean, all three of those are solid on their own, but when they come together and make a full line, it's just so cool. I mean, I love each stage of the line almost as much as I do all the others. I guess a backup would maybe be the Aggron line, because they're all pretty cool. Aeron's maybe a bit of a weak link, but my least favorite, I had to think about for a while, but I think I'm gonna have to say Kling Klang. Not because I hate it and it's bad and it's just an item or whatever, but it's just so bland. I forget about it all the time, and it barely changes when it becomes a Kling, and then Kling Klang is just underwhelming and not good in battle. They have terrible move pools and things, so yeah, Kling Klang's my least favorite. Squeezed Lemon asks, do you have a girlfriend? Yeah, with more personal stuff. No, technically I do not. I don't plan on that staying that way forever, obviously, but I'll let you know if that changes. The Dippy Spoon asks, what's your least favorite Pokemon game? I'm assuming this means not the side games like Mystery Dungeon or something like that, because I would say that probably, because I didn't like it very much. And I've not played like Conquest or Coliseum or any of those other games. But out of the main series games, I would have to say Gen 5, I think, is my least favorite. I guess specifically the first Black and White would be my least favorite. I mean, it's not bad, it's just different. It is the most different of the Pokemon games to me. It's an entirely other region with nobody we know, no Pokemon that we know until the post-game. I mean, there's a lot of people that are spiritual successors to previous Pokemon, but it's just so different. And the graphics are, I think, not even as good as Gen 4 graphics, which is not good because it came later on the same system. So, I'm gonna have to say Gen 5 first games. The Hillshire Farm asks, what's your favorite TV show? You might have been able to tell, but I'm a pretty big fan of The Flash. There's a lot of images and references to that in a lot of my videos. I love all of the Arrowverse shows on the CW, but Flash is definitely my favorite. Seal Paoli asks, what if the haters dab back? I don't know what that means. I'll be honest with you. I mean, if they dab back, I guess that's on them. That's assuming that I dabbed to begin with, I think, from the context. But, I don't know. It wouldn't really bother me, because I don't know what that is. So, there you go. Lilligant Lover asks, as a kid, did you draw any fake Pokemon? Oh, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you mean like these? That's right. I drew these. I had the first Ghost Normal type, and Gulio there. I had the first Dragon Electric types. I invented the Fighting Psychic type. I had, right there, I had a pre-evolution for Ponyta. I made Leafeon before it was cool, and Petaleon. I had a pre-evolution for Onix for some reason. I made a bunch of number forms for Unknown. Teddy Polra? No, Pulsarine. There you go. Yeah, a Polar Bear evolution of Teddy Ursa. This was after Gen 2, before Gen 3. So, there's a Murkrow, the evolved form of Murkrow. I personally like that better than Honchkrow. That's basically the thing from Attack of the Clones that Obi-Wan kills. I had a Sleeplax. That's like the reverse Munchlax, I guess. I had Apom before it was cool. So yeah, I might have drawn a couple of fake Pokemon in my time. But there are better ones than that I drew later, and I might reveal those at some time too. That may be a future video. Pumpkin Gamer 555 asks, I recently started watching the Star Wars movies, and my favorite character is Jar Jar Binks. Most people thought he was annoying, but what's your opinion on him? I can't tell if you're trying to be a troll. You're usually not, but I mean, I don't think he's as bad as everyone thinks. If he's your favorite, that's good, I'm glad for you. When I was a kid, I loved him. He did his job. He appealed to me, the child, because he was goofy and tripped over stuff. Going back and watching the movies, that's not as enjoyable as like compelling dialogue and things, but he's not so bad that he ruins the entire movie, especially when you have really cool things like Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn, or Darth Maul is really cool. I mean, there's other bad parts of the movie besides Jar Jar, like the pod racing and all that stuff. But, I mean, he basically doesn't even appear in the third episode, and he's just there in episode 2 to give Palpatine his rise to power. So, he is necessary, narratively, in that aspect, and yeah, he's not my favorite. He's not ever gonna even be in my top 100, probably, but he's not that bad, I guess is what I'll say. There is one more question that I had, but it's pretty lengthy, so I'm gonna do a separate video on that, and you'll see that, obviously, when this comes out. But, yeah, that one is gonna take a while to get through. So, if I didn't get to your question, check out that one. But other than that, that's all the questions that I had. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'll go back and check, but I will definitely answer any questions that you have down below in the comments on this video. It's hard to believe that it's already been a year, but thank you to all of you who have been here with me. So, what did you think about my answer to your question? Let me know down in the comments. Also, be sure to leave a like, share this video, and subscribe so that you too can become an Imperial today. And we'll see you around next time!